Hey everybody, welcome to the YS Podcast. My name is Adam McLean. This week we're going to start a series. We get a lot of questions about tech and youth ministry. We know a lot of you guys make videos and stuff like that. So we partnered with Jay Delp to provide a 6-week series on using tech in youth ministry. So check out segment 1.
Hey, hi everybody. Good to be with you today on Adam's podcast. It's an awesome time to be together, and I'm looking forward to sharing a few different tips with you on how, on this particular podcast, one of the questions we get asked a lot is how do I get my video off of my camcorder, off of my DVD player, off of my TiVo, and onto my computer so that I can edit it, so that you can compress it and do whatever you want with it. Well, in a perfect world, the best way is to always use FireWire. Hopefully your computer has FireWire connections. If it doesn't, make sure that whatever computer you build or buy always has FireWire. And hopefully you're coming from a FireWire source. Now I'll tell you in a minute how to get video off of other sources that do not have FireWire. But in an ideal world, you're coming from a camcorder or a component that has FireWire to FireWire, because that won't lose any quality as you're capturing the video to your computer. Now oftentimes you may have a computer with FireWire, but you need to get video into your computer from a component like a DVD player, a TiVo player, maybe an analog tape source like VHS or Hi8 or Digital 8 does have FireWire, or some other source that doesn't have FireWire. What you would need then is a capture card, either a capture card mounted into your computer or an external box that you can use with any computer that will convert your analog video, that VHS or DVD player or 8mm video, into FireWire. Now they range in quality from $50 up to hundreds of dollars. And if you buy an internal one, then you definitely want to get something that offers the composite video and S-video. Also, there's external boxes that you can use, and Canopus by Grass Valley makes a lot of great products, and they'll convert your analog video into FireWire. But here's a little known secret. Some of these camcorders, the mini DV camcorders especially, have what's called digital pass-through. You can save yourself some money and not have to buy any external capture device or internal if you find out if that camera has a feature called digital pass-through. It will allow you to feed your non-digital video into your camera, and the camera itself will act as a converter, feeding the video out of its own FireWire port into your computer, allowing you to convert that non-digital video into FireWire compatible video. And that's an awesome tip to when you go camera shopping especially, or to check your features on your own camera to find out if that has that feature. So there's a lot of ways. There's a lot of solutions also out there that offer USB connection. Be very careful if you use a device that captures video and imports it to your computer via USB. It may be compressing that video on its way in, which is not the goal. We want to make sure we maintain the exact same quality as we shot it in as we get it into our computer. So those are just a few tips to get your video off of your TiVo, off of your camcorder, and off of your DVD player into your computer so that you can compress it, edit it, and spread it to the world.
Hey, check it out. This is like the tall guy podcast. You notice that Jay's like 6'9", like huge. Well, another tall guy is David Crowder. He's got this devotion to share with you this week.
Well, hello, kids and adults. This is David Crowder with a devotional thought, which is actually fairly scary to me to think of me, proselytizing for some. Here's what I'm thinking of currently. Let's leave it. How about we start? That'll be my intro. Here's what I'm currently thinking about. I ran across, this friend of mine emailed me, and he says, dude, are you familiar with this Pythagoras guy? And I'm sure all of us will remember from our geometry days. He had the Pythagorean theorem, that you find the triangle thing. Remember that? That was very helpful and something we all took to heart and have applied rigorously throughout our lives. Here's something interesting that he says. He says, now Pythagoras, he's a guy who is responsible for our harmonic scale. They got into this little deal trying to figure out what harmonic tones were pleasing to the ear and which ones were not, based on the length of strings. These harps that were playing the music, they started examining the string length, and in fact started applying math to the intervals that were making us respond in some sort of emotional way. And so that was fine. He stumbles upon this beautiful picture of science and emotion that intersect, and gave little words and thoughts that kind of. Well, then along comes this guy by the name of Mr. Kepler. Kepler was like sort of like in the vein of Copernicus and Galileo, an astronomer, scientist type. And he starts to theorize about, he's trying to figure out why the planets orbit the sun in the distances that they do. Like what keeps them in orbit at these specific rotational patterns. And he stumbles upon this Pythagoras thing and thinks, I wonder if they fall in harmonic intervals. He starts applying the math. Sure enough, if planets in orbit could make a tone, they would be harmonious. The same math that applied for Pythagoras applies for Mr. Kepler. And that to me, when I read in Job and God says, were you there when the planets begin to sing in harmony? I'm thinking, oh my, that's something pretty significant. So that's just what I was thinking about today.
How many of you guys, when David was talking, thought, I need to go to Wikipedia and look up those words? It's totally what I had to do. No shame in that whatsoever. Hey, thanks for watching the podcast this week. We want to invite you to connect with me. You can send me an email at adam@youthspecialties.com, or look me up on Facebook or MySpace or Twitter or any of those other social networks out there that you use. We want to remind you, just like we do every week, that what you do in your ministry matters. We know you don't hear it from a lot of other people. You don't hear it enough, but we want you to hear from our heart to yours, that your ministry matters. It does matter to those parents, the students, but it matters deeply and especially to the heart of God. Thanks for what you do. We'll see you next week.